Ben McLannahan joins us now live from Hong Kong. Welcome to you, Ben.
Hi.
So Fujii is a tough act to follow then.
That's right. The guy was always a little bit doddery. He seemed to start with 77 years old, returning, abandoning his retirement to come back and do a favor, really, for an old friend. And he started off in his first few weeks and months talking about the yen, talking it up, talking it down. People really weren't quite sure what to make of this guy. And then latterly, towards the end of a very brief tenure, he found his feet and started to talk in language that markets really appreciated, such as becoming at last the kind of fiscal disciplinarian that Japan's administration really needed.
So, Ben, you described Fujii as having something that's very rare in Japan, a radical streak. Explain that for us.
That's right. If you look at the composition of the draft budget that he put forward on Christmas Day, 3 days before going to hospital with exhaustion, there were some parts of that were predictable and some that were less so. The allocation to construction, which has always been big and rising thanks to the lobbying power of all the big Japanese conglomerates, that fell quite dramatically. And there was, to make up the shortfall, there was a lot of raiding of old surplus funds, which in a country as savings obsessed as Japan was a radical step. And to do that, he's trying to keep the new borrowing, the debt dependency ratio, below 50. And 40 in the dark days of the mid-70s used to be considered astronomical, but it's been above that in the early part of last decade and was 52% in the second half of last year. So it looked promising. He was taking all the right steps.
So is Naoto going to have the stomach to carry out these steps?
Well, that's the big question. It does make you wonder why Mr. Hatayama was so keen to hold on to Mr. Fujii if he didn't have a ready-made replacement. But we don't know a lot about Naoto. We don't know a lot about lots of these guys. They're all relative greenhorns in a country that had one government for about 60 years. So all eyes will be on what he does in enforcing through this budget, what compromises he's forced to accept by voices within his coalition party that are more growth-focused and less fiscally restrained.
Ben, what's the outlook for the Japanese economy this year and beyond?
The outlook this year is as grim as it gets for any developed economy, really. Zero nominal growth, deflation still entrenched. As far as markets are concerned, equities may well pop up a little bit, who really knows. But on the basis of today's movements, equities sinking slightly, bonds sinking slightly even more, suggests that investors see no way out of this debt dependency trap that Japan has got itself into.
Ben McLannahan from the Financial Times joining us there.
Thank you.